An East German NVA regiment has been attacking into the teeth of an American heavy cavalry squadron for the last 3 hours. The Americans have been forced to give ground and to fight a delaying action wherever possible. The Americans have managed to grind down much of the strength of the NVA regiment, but they themselves have also been hurt bad. They are once again forced to withdraw. Our company has been tasked with setting up hasty defensive positions along the Autobahn to cover the American withdrawal. According to their reports, the enemy, having lost a lot of tanks to long-range ATGM fire, is keeping off the Autobahn and is attacking to the north and south of it. We expect the last of the Americans to pass through our lines within 5 minutes and the enemy to be hot on their heels. We also expect the rest of our battalion to reinforce us in 1 to 2 hours. Our reduced platoon of only 2 Leopard 1 tanks is sent to the front to cover the retreat of friendly forces. The second platoon in full strength is still a few kilometers behind us. We have to hold on until they arrive. Hello there and welcome to the Autobahn in Germany. Well, actually welcome to GHPC, where we will be driving this magnificent tank down said Autobahn today. This here is the Leopard 1A4, a West German tank design of the Cold War, and I can tell you when this thing came into service, it was truly a beast of a tank. Really good gun, very accurate, really good mobility for a main battle tank. Unfortunately, those things were bought with paper-thin armor. The armor on this thing can't stand up to any kind of punishment really, so we better make sure that we do not get hit, because if an enemy tank hits this thing, the round will just go through. It most likely will. There's very little protection here. But this tank here excels at maneuver warfare. So, find a nice position, get into that position, punish the enemy, and then get into a new position before the enemy can retaliate. What else can I tell you about this machine? Well, look at this beauty up here. This is an MG3 machine gun. We have that machine gun as a coaxial machine gun in our turret. So if we should encounter enemy infantry, we can just mow them down with the awesome rate of fire that this machine gun has. It's really fun to use. This tank has another quite significant drawback. This being an older design, we actually do not have a laser rangefinder. Let's say for example that I want to target that bush over there. I enable the rangefinder and you will notice that the bush is now blurry. I range until the bush is in focus, and that's when I have the range dialed in. So that bush is 1400 meters away. This of course means this having not a laser rangefinder but a stereoscopic rangefinder like this means that I need to have a good view of my target. If there is smoke, if there is dust, if there are trees, etc. obscuring my vision, then it can be really hard to range the target properly. So that's a significant drawback here. Also, just a little interesting tidbit here. What we see in the game, what the developers have made here is just an approximation of the real thing, because the real rangefinder works a little bit different. You see this yellow line that you see floating above the bush here. If you were to look down the sides in a real tank, this yellow line would appear to you as if it was floating in space, as if it was holographic. And as you were setting the range, the yellow line would move and you would try to align it with the top of the target. And once you have done that, that's when you would have the range dialed in. We as gamers, we are sitting in front of a 2D plane, which is our monitor. And that makes it very difficult to replicate something like this. I think this approximation that the developers have implemented, it works well enough, and it's easy and fun to use. So, we'll go with it. Now, we have awesome firepower, we also have an awesome mission. The East German army is attacking in force from the east. Friendly forces are falling back to establish new defensive positions in the rear, It is our job to cover their retreat and to blunt the enemy's advance. For that we are to move to rally point 1 and to then defend friendlies at BP Alpha here, which is a little cluster of buildings south of the Autobahn. And I think it's actually this cluster of buildings right here. Yeah, must be it. Okay, that's good to know. Right. As I speed off towards rally point 1, I want you to have a look at the speed indicator in the lower left corner of the HUD, because this is one of the strengths of this tank. See how fast the speed is rising. Already at 50 kilometers per hour. Approaching 60 now. For main battle tank of that time, this is seriously impressive. Mobility is the greatest strength of this vehicle. Looks like we have friendlies retreating. Looks like American forces. Okay. Looking at the situation here, I have an idea. I might try to use this ramp to get my tank into a hull down position to expose as little of my armor as possible. Something like this. This should allow me to cover the approach to BP Alpha and BP Alpha itself. Yeah, this works. What about you? I have an idea. Platoon, movement, halt. I'll switch to my second Leopard. And actually let me restock ammunition. Get as many rounds as possible into the ready rack. Let's bring you a little bit back here. Let's find a nice hull down position for you two. Something like so. Or even further back. Now let's drive even further back. See, even in reverse, this thing is quite quick. Something like this here should work well enough, I think. Oh, you know, looking at this, it looks like the enemy will be attacking from the east and from the southeast. I think that I can cover the southeast, but I would need this thing to cover the east for me, ideally. Let me try this. Maybe we can make use of this little forest here to get into a concealed and partially covered position. I can cover this approach back there if I set up here. Okay, you'll stay here. Let me restock on my own tank, get as much ammunition as possible in the ready rack, because the ready rack actually does not hold many rounds. The storage rack down there, that holds many rounds. We have plenty of ammunition, just isn't readily accessible. Yeah, we're getting more rounds in. Okay. We have smoke rounds landing there. We did get a note that half of 3rd platoon is falling back, and I guess this is them. This is an M113, but the West German variant with the MG3 instead of the 50 cal. Really nice. Yeah, these guys are falling back. We are in position. Let's see what the enemy brings. We have a lot of firepower on call to use. A lot of artillery. And by the way, the Autobahn. You know, much of it still has this kind of layout. 2 lanes going in each direction. But today it would look much different than this. It would have crash barriers, it would have a divider in the middle and emergency lanes. So it would be much safer than this. But this is actually how the Autobahn used to look in many places, I think up until the 70s or maybe even 80s. In some places then. Let's see if I can range that tree over there. Like so. Still waiting for any kind of contact, but we now have a lot of artillery dropping and it looks like there's more smoke dropping in front of BP Alpha. That's a problem. That's obscuring my vision. I can't see. We have contact. Let me call artillery. You know what? Let me drop more smoke to protect, to break up line of sight. Hopefully allow my tank to engage the enemy one by one as they appear out of the smoke. Yeah, they dropped a lot of smoke everywhere. I can't really see any... Oh, we got hit. Are you alright? You are, surprisingly. Can you fire back or are you out of action? No, the turret is still turning.
Panzergranate! Panzer! Nach links! Erkannt!
Tank where? In that smoke? Well, that's a problem. Can't see anything in there. Oh, there's something in the trees. Hit it. Load another round. There. Hit it again. Let's drop artillery on them. It's on fire now. Okay, so they're coming through that gap as well. I'll cover that. I think my other tank should have covered that direction. Oh man, artillery is sitting close to me. Not pleasant. Enemy infantry is attacking BP Alpha. I see tracers flying. A lot of tracers, okay. Let's see what appears. My artillery is now hitting. Try to range that area, like so. Plenty of tracers. I'm just waiting to see APC, okay. Load hash rounds next then. Goddamn, I missed. He turned. Load, 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 load. Hash round hit. Hash rounds are good for taking out APCs. But not much else, to be honest. These hash rounds are of the older variant. My other tank is engaging something. So he's still in the fight. I'm glad to... Oh crap. Fire the hash round at it. Follow up with heat. Come on, come on, come on, load. Hit it. He managed to fire back, so I think he's still in service. Anything else coming down that way? Still more smoke in that direction. Not sure if it's my own or enemy. Let's see if I can get eyes on that. There! That was a hit, I think. Hit on the turret. Yeah, it's burning. You know, heat rounds have a nice ballistic curve to them. I think it's time to load the armor piercing again. Okay, that one is on fire. There's no one. Hit it. Let's observe here. That's on fire too. Okay, multiple enemy tanks down. further contact as of right now. That does not mean that there aren't any. I'm hesitating to just drive up here. I hear small arms fire. We might just have more enemy infantry to deal with. There's a lot of stuff burning there, I can't see a thing. If I decide to move out and to get closer to BP Alpha, then I need to lay down a smoke screen. Just from my direction, just past BP Alpha like this. Let's put a smoke screen here. Let's wait for the smoke to arrive, and then we can get a move on. Yeah, I see shots being fired, dust being kicked up there. Oh, don't tell me that's my smoke screen. That's off by like a lot. I need those rounds over there. Okay. Enemy infantry.
Dasselbe Ziel. Ziel verloren.
Call artillery on them. We had an APC speed through. Now enemy infantry. I'll pin them in place
Schützen. Nach rechts. Achtung. Ziel verloren.
so that my artillery can finish them off.
Verfehlt. Dasselbe Ziel.
This is just me suppressing them. Where's my smoke screen? There it is. Okay, there's my artillery landing. There's the enemy APC that drove through. So let me try to range that guy. And let's try to take it out. Make sure my left side is covered. Well, kinda. There he is.
Panzergranate.
Over.
Schützenpanzer. Ziel erkannt. Treffer.
Hit it.
Dasselbe Ziel. Schuss.
He's still alive. I'll follow up with a heat round. Not
Geladen.
necessary. He's dead. Okay. Let's get back into cover. The enemy is retreating. Break contact and move to rally point 2. We still have shooting up ahead. Gonna drop more artillery into there to help out my guys that are still on BP Alpha. But we are now going to disengage. I'll drop a smoke screen here to cover my tank so that it can come back to me. That thing was moving just now.
Geladen.
Hit it. It's on fire. Let's wait a moment for the smoke. Here it comes. Let's wait for a few more rounds to land. And I need to start restocking my ammunition. I'm pretty much out on almost everything in the ready rack. Okay. Good smoke. Let's wait for it to build a little bit. There we go. That's good. Platoon, movement, follow. Come on. Oh, you're immobilized, aren't you? Right track destroyed. You are immobilized. Okay, so you are staying. Keep covering this area. Bail out if enemy pressure gets too big. I gotta go. We have to go to rally point 2. So that's where we are going. Ah, the Autobahn. You know, it can be quite fun to drive on it. Most of you might know that Germany is quite famous for having the Autobahn where there is no speed limit. That, however, is only technically true. You see, you are only allowed to go as fast on those parts of the Autobahn that is indeed unrestricted, you are only allowed to go as fast as your vehicle, your abilities, the weather and roads and traffic conditions allow. So if you think that you can come to Germany and just drive down the Autobahn at a ludicrous speed, that's not really the case. Or you should be very smart about it. Because if anything happens and you are going faster than 130 kilometers per hour, which is the recommended speed, even if it's not your fault, you will be partially liable. Load armor piercing. Okay. Enemy is attacking BP Delta. Move to support 4th platoon in defending it. That's north of us. The enemy seems to be attacking from the northeast. If I can get into this hamlet, I might get flank shots at them from a protected position. And reinforcements are arriving, that's good. That's really good. Okay, looks like we are going the right way. That's the hamlet that I want to get to, the little village. And that is BP Delta. That's what we are trying to protect from an attack from that direction. Contact! Slow down for a moment.
Panzergranate! Panzer! Nach rechts! Achtung! Treffer!
Getting a hit in.
Ziel! Schuss! Wir haben verloren!
And getting into cover. Jeez! They shot through the forest at me and almost hit me. We stock a few more AP rounds. We are gonna need them. Ooh, this village is being hit by artillery. We better not be hit by that. Trying to find a position. Okay, this is... This could work. This better work.
Panzergranate! Panzer! Wiedererkannt! Ziel verloren!
Reverse.
Geladen!
Loaded. A lot of smoke. Hit.
Geladen!
Let's aim past the house. Where did they go? There is an APC. Okay, so we have APCs. Load hash next. Just took out one of them.
Geladen!
Hopefully took out another. Now it's still driving.
Geladen!
Hit it. The tank is burning, that's good.
Geladen! Sprenggranate! Schützen! Ziel verloren!
Is the APC still alive? I don't think it is.
Sprenggranate! Schützenpanzer! Ziel
Enemy
verloren!
APC, there. The damn hash rounds are just so slow.
Sprenggranate! Schützen! Nach rechts!
Not sure if I hit that or not.
Nach rechts! Geladen! Nach rechts! Treffer!
Hit it.
Ziel verloren!
I have an idea. Load heat. Platoon, movement, halt here. I'm gonna switch to 2nd platoon. And I'm gonna use them to hit the enemy from the side, maybe. Maybe by going around these forests I can hit their flank. Let's try that. I have 4 tanks now. Platoon, formation, echelon right. Let's make use of our mobility. Enemy tank.
Panzer, nach rechts. Ziel erkannt.
Missed
Feuer.
me. Can somebody else please shoot him too?
Achtung, Ziel verloren.
Not sure if I hit it. I did. It's on fire.
Geladen.
Another one.
Panzergranate. Panzer. Achtung. Treffer. Dasselbe Ziel.
Hit him.
Gut.
He's still alive.
Geladen. Treffer.
Follow-up shot that ricocheted.
Feuer einstellen.
Oh no, he's dead. Okay. Move, move,
Geladen.
move. Let's move behind this forest. Guys, are you even following me?
Panzer. Nach links. Ziel erkannt.
Another
Gut.
enemy tank somewhere. I don't see it. Oh, it's up there.
Ziel verloren.
Did hit, but did no damage. Are my other tanks stuck or something? What the hell are you doing, guys? Drive. That's weird. There they come, okay. They're coming now. Hopefully engaging enemy tanks along the way. Well, the enemy tank engaged one of them. Everybody's still alive though. I hope they return fire. Oh, you are going that way. That's genius. They messed up. And one of them is paying the price. Where's that enemy tank that is shooting at them?
Panzergranate. Panzer. Ziel erkannt.
Behind, there's buildings.
Ziel verloren.
Didn't see it, let's fire. Anyway, I hit something. Yeah, there he is. I can just see the top of his turret. I'll try to lob a heat round over. I think that's rather hit the tree than him.
Geladen.
Let the dust disperse. Come on, where is he? The dust is not dispersing because he keeps shooting like a maniac. Not far enough. Increase range.
Geladen.
Hit the damn tree.
Geladen.
That looked better. Where are my other tanks? Come on, guys. I'm waiting on you.
Geladen.
That thing is still shooting. There. No, I'm not getting through here. It's unlikely.
Geladen.
There it is. There it is. I can see it now. Let me aim just there. God damn it. Restock heat rounds. Guys, platoon. You know what? Hold this formation actually. Let's flank. Let's go around those buildings.
Hochladungsgranate. Panzer. Ziel verloren.
Cancel the restock. We have another tank somewhere in front of us, or it's that tank. Let's drop some artillery on him. Load the heat round.
Geladen.
Okay, he must be over there. That's where the artillery is starting to land. There, I see his machine gun on top of the turret. Let's try to dial that range in. This should be more or less okay. Okay, I'm gonna lob the round over. Hit on fire.
Geladen.
Yeah, he's gone. now north of BP Delta. Let's see if there are more enemies here that we now can catch out by attacking into their flank. That's BP Delta there. One enemy tank on fire down the road. That's the one we just killed. But other than that, I just don't know right now. Let's reverse, get into a position further up there at one of those houses and take another peek. As I said, this mission would be awesome, and indeed it is. This is a challenging one. I have to be really careful not to drive out in front of an enemy tank somewhere. There have to be more enemies somewhere. I just don't know where they would be.
MG, Schützen, nach links.
Enemy troops.
Schuss.
Okay, we have enemy infantry out there next to those APCs. You know what we'll do. We'll suppress them
Dasselbe Ziel. Ziel verloren.
and let the artillery hammer them. The fire rate on this thing.
MG. Ziel verloren.
The artillery should be able to finish them off. There it comes. The artillery rounds. Yeah, that's a good hit now. I think that's the enemy troops gone. Anything else that we need to take out? Maybe there are more enemy troops somewhere. Platoon formation wedge. Nothing more coming from that way. So maybe just more enemy troops over here. But they are gonna be finished off by the artillery. Here we just have a few disabled APCs. No sign of enemy tanks. Found the enemy tank. Trying to range this thing, but he might just be a little bit too close for that. Still, I have a good shot at this turret, so let's just go for it. Of course I hit the damn tree.
Geladen.
There we go. That was the final enemy.
Geladen.
They have been finished off. Okay. Victory. But boy oh boy, at what cost? Actually, not at a great cost. I think we lost the tank that didn't want to obey orders to follow me. No, he's actually still alive, so maybe just disabled. And the other tank here, that had its track blown off, that can be repaired. That can be repaired. That's not a problem. And BP Alpha. BP Alpha is safe. Very nice. Come into position, guys. Actually, let's have a little photo opportunity here. This is looking awesome. Quite awesome. Leopards in the wild. Okay. Let's end the mission and see all the hits that were sustained. We have equipment loss 2 on NATO's side, so maybe I should have checked those 2 tanks, although we will see now exactly what happened to them. So let me show not only hits but also misses. Let's not show just the player involved ones. I'll exclude small caliber because that's a huge number. And let's exclude fire support not. Yeah, we'll have fire support in because apparently it's gonna be interesting. Starting right now. Here, the first round that is hitting something is a 152mm high explosive shell hitting this APC in the rear. Now, blast damage is not shown in this view, but blast damage is modeled in the game, and I can only assume that this APC was taken out by this blast. A tank might be able to survive this. An APC? No. No chance. Let's go on. Okay, we have enemy tanks engaging my second tank that was in the tree line. This is how he lost his track. A T-55 engaged him from a kilometer away. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so we have enemy T-55s coming through here. He somehow manages to spot that Leopard and puts a shot in. That's an impressive spot, to be honest. The shot comes in low and takes out the track. My Leopard does fire back and hits the top of the turret, but the round shatters due to the impact angle and flies off into the distance. So no kill here. We have another artillery shell, this time a 155mm high explosive shell, so this is one of my artillery shells, coming down here and landing, actually deflecting off this tree and then landing here in front of this tank. I doubt that it did any serious damage to the tank. This is me shooting at the enemy tank that suddenly appeared in the trees. I do not kill it. The armor-piercing round does not penetrate. It gets stuck in the turret ring. This is me shooting. Yes, this is me shooting. By the way, now you can see hull down position. Really nice, really hard to see for the enemy. My second hit does better. This one penetrates into the turret and ignites some ammunition along the way. Then we have... oh, this is interesting. Infantry from their foxhole fire an M72 Law man-portable rocket launcher at this enemy tank and actually hit the side of it, and the round penetrates, the heat round, and this tank is gone. This took out so much stuff in this tank and probably set it on fire because it hit a lot of ammunition along the way too. Great job, infantry. I fired something. I tried to fire at this APC but missed because he just turned at that moment. Infantry once again, wow, heroes here. From their foxhole fire an M72. Look at this ballistic arc on this thing. 200 meters, pretty good range for that AT weapon. And hit the turret of this APC, wounding the gunner. Also hitting some spare ammunition, so it's possible that this thing was set on fire by this hit. I fire a hash round at this APC here. The hash round does not penetrate. Oh wow. Failed to squash due to impact angle. Okay, so the impact angle was bad. That's why the round did not squash on the armor. Hash rounds are really funny rounds. My other leopard takes a shot at... he takes a shot at the advancing enemy tanks. The shot grazes the roof of this building, but still continues on. Hits the tank, and actually does penetrate the turret ring, and goes in, hitting the loader. Yeah, the loader has been killed by this most likely, but I don't think the tank has been put out of action. I fire another hash round at this APC, and once again the impact angle is bad, and the round fails to squash. My other tank, apparently I put him in a really good position. He continues to engage here. This round once again penetrates this tank's armor, and this time the loader is most likely killed, and a commander at least very heavily wounded. But I don't think the tank is set on fire by this. Doesn't appear as if anything flammable was hit. He fires again. This time the round does not penetrate, but ricochets off the turret armor. I fire a hash round at this T-55. Fails to penetrate. The armor is too thick. The hash round not really that great at killing a tank. My second heat round that I fire at this thing also fails. Crushed by the impact angle. I take a shot. I think... wait, is it the same tank? Let me see. 3162. 3161. Oh wait, who am I engaging here? Okay, 3-1. Ah, okay. I see. I start to engage this group of enemy tanks that was engaged by my second tank. Past the compound here. There is BP Alpha. I am now driving up the berm a little bit and shooting at them at 800 meters. I hit this thing with a heat round. The heat round penetrates, and this tank is dead because the molten jet hits a lot of ammunition along the way. My next round that I fired the second tank in this formation. The heat round penetrates, and once again there's a lot of ammunition in the way, and this tank is gone. The T-55 has so much ammunition stacked inside of this little tank. If you penetrate anywhere, you are basically guaranteed to hit some ammunition along the way. Then we have me missing something. I am missing this APC. Next round does not miss, penetrates through. We have artillery coming down. Yeah, I'm calling in more artillery. I guess this comes down and kills a bunch of enemy infantry here. Yeah, I think I was suppressing them with my machine gun, wasn't I? I fire a heat round at this APC. Not sure if that's alive at this point or not. But, yeah. Not having a great time, because I fire again. This thing is just done at this point. Another artillery shell. Probably killing a bunch of enemy infantry. And now we come to a point later in the mission. This is me, okay, this is me, single tank, driving to my little flanking position, where I encounter these enemy tanks along the way. I fire one round at 1300 meters. Unfortunately, I hit the front armor here, and the round does nothing to this tank. Oh! I blind fire at this point. At this point, I just managed to reload and essentially blind fire a round through the trees and hit the tank again, taking out the engine. I think this is the tank that we engaged on top of the hill here later in the mission with 2nd platoon. This thing gave us so much trouble later on. But yeah, the engine is taken out, so this thing is stopped. Return fire hits me through the trees. Fortunately, it is just a high explosive round, and that does not penetrate. I'm lucky. If this was an armor-piercing round, I'd be dead. He had high explosive loaded. That saved me here. Good. I think... yeah, now I'm in my flanking position here in this little hamlet. And I open fire on another group of enemy tanks approaching BP Delta over there. I hit this one in the side. And we do manage to penetrate... no, we don't. I think what we are seeing here is spalling inside of the tank. That wounds the gunner and the driver. But nothing else. I fire again, possibly at another tank here. Yeah, because those two... let's see, 1, 2, 3. So this is the middle one that I fired at, 311. My next shot hits 3113. And I penetrate. Killing the driver instantly and also hitting ammunition. So this thing starts to burn, I'm pretty sure. Then I start to focus on the enemy APCs that seem to be trying to unload infantry. Just as they're unloading, my round rips through them. I fire a hash round at this vehicle. Does nothing. The next hash round, however, does its job. It actually does penetrate into the vehicle, and you can see when these things do penetrate, they can cause a mess inside. The passengers are all killed, and the vehicle is probably abandoned after this hit. I fire again at something, but miss. Yeah, I try to fire at this APC, but just aim a little bit high. And now we have infantry at BP Delta. Once again, infantry sitting in their foxholes, engaging with their rocket launchers at 230 meters. The round hits this T-55 and kills it. This will have touched off some ammunition, so this thing is gone. I fire a hash round at this APC now for my flanking position. Hit the side, don't do much damage. The round was mostly stopped by the tire. We have me now shooting a heat round, and this heat round fell short. Unfortunately, still some of the molten jet managed to penetrate, and a soldier was wounded in the leg. What do we have here now? Okay, I think this is us now switching to second platoon. Yeah, this is me still being followed by the other tanks. As I put a round into this advancing enemy tank here, penetrating the frontal armor and killing this thing because I do hit plenty of ammunition back there. Then I fire at the second enemy tank here. I do not penetrate, I just take out one of the vision blocks of the driver. This at 1 kilometer. I fire again, and I thought that this round had ricocheted off the turret, but actually it did penetrate through. What ricocheted off must have been this little fragment. This round did penetrate and did hit ammunition, so this thing started to burn. And now we have the silliness... no, not yet. This is me being hit by return fire from whom? Yeah, from the tank back there that had its engine disabled. He fired at me at 1.4 kilometers. Just as I disappeared behind the trees, he fired simply through the trees. Hit low. Took out a road wheel. Maybe damaged the track a little bit, but I was still mobile. Had he aimed a little bit higher, my engine could have been gone here. And now we come to the silliness. Now this is my tanks following, finally, after I have nudged them into motion. This Leopard gets hit in the frontal armor, and the frontal armor actually does its job. The angle is so that the round does not penetrate, but it is that tank back there. He does fire again though, and this time he does hit, and he hits the engine. Did he hit anything else? The loader is wounded, his right leg. The transmission and the engine took the brunt of the damage. So this vehicle is probably immobilized at this point. He fires one more time, and this time the hit is pretty devastating. He hits the top of the turret. The gunner's sight is gone, and the commander is severely wounded. Some propellant casing is hit, but I don't think it's penetrated. So the tank is still alive, it's just the commander that has been taken out and the gunner's sight. He seems to return fire. Not penetrating. And this is now me coming up here, still waiting on my other tanks to join me, and I actually do manage to get a hit in with an armor-piercing round. It hits the top of the turret, but I only take out the spotlight on top of the turret, nothing else. He continues to fire at that poor Leopard down there, hitting the side of it. And this time, this is a catastrophic hit. The driver is taken out. The loader is taken out, most likely. He does hit propellant casing, but he does not penetrate propellant casing. Commander is wounded as well, so I guess the gunner is still alive inside of this. Gets hit again. Once again, no propellant casing is penetrated. The gunner is still alive. This is now me trying to return fire with heat rounds through these trees. Aiming short, way short. Shoots again at the Leopard, hitting the engine. Shoots high explosive at it now. Maybe he's run out of heat and is ready back. High explosive does nothing. I managed to... No, that's him returning fire. Oh my god, what a hero. The gunner inside this tank is still alive. He returns fire with a heat round and hits the track. Some of the shrapnel penetrates into the tank or spalls, or the armor spalls into the fighting compartment. Propellant casing is hit but not penetrated. Okay, so this thing is still alive, but even more immobilized now. I continue to fire and to miss because I'm still aiming short. Now I miss because I'm hitting the damn tree. He fires back at the Leopard with a high explosive shell. I think he has nothing else left at this point in his ready rack. And this time I finally hit it with a heat round. I just skim the heat round through the trees and over the road, and I hit him. However, the heat round is stopped by the wet wreck fuel tank. Damn it. I hit the tree, and the hero down there fires again and hits this tank in the turret. This time the heat round penetrates. The commander is taken out. Commander is just killed. Propellant casing is penetrated. So this tank should burn. But I don't think it did, because I continued to fire. The hero down there fires again. Another heat round, but this one doesn't do anything. And this is me now coming in. We are finally advancing. I get a good line of sight to this tank, and I lob a heat round just over the hill, hit the turret. Looks like the vehicle was at this point already abandoned by its crew. It's just the commander inside who was already dead at this point. I hit the turret, and this thing then starts to burn. That I remember. Good. What else is going on? We have now artillery raining down on the enemy troops that have disembarked here next to the APCs. This is the artillery that I called in as I was suppressing them with my machine gun fire. That's gonna finish them off. I fire a round at this tank down here that we find, the last one. I hit the tree though. The next round that I fire is better. It penetrates the rear of the turret and this thing is gone. The crew is killed, and I guess whoever is left inside is bailing out. Don't think we penetrated any propellant here. No, we didn't. So that was quite the awesome mission, I gotta say. Really tense one at moments, and quite a long one too. I enjoy these longer missions that have very varied objectives to them. And you might be able to tell that this mission, this is Table Salt Part 1 of 2. Yes, there is a second part to this that we are gonna be playing next week. For now, I hope that you have enjoyed today's mission, because this was a lot of fun. And let me know in the comments what you think of this mission, of this engagement, and of this beautiful tank here. Let me know what you think. So, once again, thank you very much for your time, your attention. I hope to see you again next time. Until then, have some really great days and goodbye.